Hi everyone, this is Joe with Car Care Team. We're going to replace brake lines on this 2003 BMW M3. When you apply the brakes, a stationary friction pad grabs onto the disc that spins with the wheels, and that's what stops your car. The brake system consists of a brake pedal, a brake master cylinder, brake calipers, and brake discs. Brake lines play a crucial role in the braking process. They carry the hydraulic fluid from the master cylinder into the caliper. Brake lines can wear out over time, can fatigue and stretch, and start to leak. How do you know if your brake lines need to be replaced? Brake lines can fail over time due to leaks from corrosion. Brake hoses, which are rubber, can stretch, which would be considered worn, and they can also create leaks at the connections. In some cases, complete braking systems need to be replaced, or components would need to be rebuilt. Poor braking system performance can cause an increase in your stopping distance. Soft or spongy brake pedal, that indicates that there is low fluid or air in the lines. That's not why we're replacing these lines. We're going to be using a steel braided brake line, which keeps it from expanding. These are rubber lines and metal lines combined. We're going to replace the rubber portion. Installing steel braided brake lines instead of the rubber ones will help better braking response and braking power. Let's get under the hood. I'm going to install these steel braided lines on all four corners. The rubber portion of the brake line is at the caliper, and we're going to get access to it by removing the wheel. This car has a lifting point, and we're going to place our jack beneath it. Brake lines come out of the master cylinder. The one from the left front will travel through this wall. Alongside the wall, it's going to meet with the rubber hose here. The rubber hose travels from here all the way up to the caliper. We're going to be removing it down here, and because it's been on there for a while, we're going to put a little bit of WD-40 on there in order to make sure that this comes off nice and easy for us. We're going to go ahead and remove the brake line at the lower mounting point. Let's disconnect the upper fitting. Now that we've got this one disconnected, we're going to take it out of the mount that's on the shock over here, and that should just slip right out. Okay. Now that we've got it in one piece, we can spin the whole thing to take it out of the caliper. This is a rubber brake line. This is a steel braided line. Once you get yours out, go ahead and match them up. Make sure you got the right lengths. And looks like we do. The connections are correct. The lengths are correct. We're going to go ahead and mount this one in. We're going to go ahead and thread in the lower fitting of our brake line. Secure the brake line to the specified torque. Go ahead and thread this in. Feed the brake line through. Secure the mounting insulator. Make sure you're properly routed, not going around any other hoses. And then we're going to reconnect the upper fitting. I put a little cap on here to prevent excessive loss of brake fluid. You're always going to lose some brake fluid. Brake bleeding will need to be done afterwards. We're going to clean off all the excess brake fluid. That way we can spot any fresh leaks. We'll do the same on the bottom. The brake system works off of fluid, which makes it a hydraulic system. The hydraulic system can't have any air in the lines or it won't function, as air is compressible, whereas fluid is not. And so we need to get all the air out by doing a bleeding procedure. The brake calipers have a bleed valve on the top of them, and we're going to use that to bleed the air out of the system. This is the brake bleed valve. We're going to open it to let the air escape. Before we do that, we're going to hook up a rubber hose to it. Most people put a longer hose and submerge the other end in brake fluid so that when you pump the pedal, you don't accidentally draw air back in by releasing the pedal at the wrong time. I just want to contain the fluid that comes out and use it as a barrier for air not to come back in. This is a gravity-fed system, and so there is a simple procedure I'd like to follow, which is simply open, squeeze, close, release. When we open the valve, the system is now susceptible to atmospheric pressure. This will allow any air to migrate out, as air is lighter than fluid. What we have to do now is press on the brake pedal. As we squeeze the brake pedal, it will activate the master cylinder, which will push the fluid through here and force any air to come out with it. We've already got some fluid coming out. We're going to press on the brake pedal to get more pressure in the lines to get more air bubbles out. And I'm going to seal that as I don't see any air bubbles coming out. I've shut the brake bleeder valve. I cleaned it off with brake part cleaner, and we're going to see if there are any leaks develop. Let's put the wheel back on. With these bolt style lugs, I like to place one through the wheel in order to locate where it's supposed to go. Once I got it started, I like to put it on the bottom. This is going to align the entire wheel to the hub. Now I can put the other ones in with ease. Now let's do the rear. The rear brake line starts from here, travels down underneath the control arm. It's going to meet up with the caliper right down here. Let's undo our brake line. Now that we've got that disconnected, let's move to the lower line. Let's undo the lower fitting. Now that we've got it broken loose, we're going to take it out and unthread it. So here's our rear brake line. And these were not leaking, but normally when these brake lines fail, they will leak at the crimped ends here and here. Let's go ahead and install our steel braided brake line. We got to transfer the hardware over from our original brake line to this one. Let's go ahead and thread in our lower fitting. It's best to turn the whole thing as one unit. It's such a strong cable, you can literally twist it from here. I'm just going to tighten that. And then we're going to route it through correctly. Hang our bracket. We're going to reconnect the upper portion of the brake line. slip it through. Start your threads. Go ahead and torque it down. All right, once you got that nice and tight, go ahead and hold down your jam nut and torque it down. We're going to clean that off. And we'll clean that as well. Go ahead and bleed these brakes. Down. Up. Down. Up. Pump it. Down. Pump it. Up. Down real slow. No air bubbles. Let's put the wheel back on. I replaced the other side. I bled the air. Car's running great and stopping great. I hope you guys like this video. Please share with anyone who you think might find it useful. Leave me questions in the comments, and thanks for watching.